The last has not been heard about the drama in the petroleum sector as regards unremitted funds from oil revenue. You will recall that the CBN governor had last year raised an alarm that the NNPC had failed to remit $49.8 billion to the Federation account. While the Senate began investigating the matter and asked the CBN, the NNPC, Ministry of Finance and other relevant agencies to reconcile your figures and come up with a more detailed picture of how much was left to be remitted. At the continuation of the public hearing, the CBN boss raised some fresh issues. Watch. There was no vacant seat in the hall, the venue of a Senate panel investigating the non-remittance of crude oil funds into the Federation account. For a public hearing of this nature, this was expected. For the past few months, there has been a chilly back and forth between the CBN governor and the NNPC over unremitted funds from oil revenues. And so this public hearing by the Senate's Committee on Finance to get to the root of the matter expectedly drew a diverse crowd of people. This public hearing is a follow-up to an earlier session in December last year where the committee began investigating the allegation made by the CBN of an alleged non-remittance of $49.8 billion by the NNPC from January 2012 to July 2013. At that hearing, the CBN governor, Mr. Sanusi Lamido, made a U-turn and said so far only $12 billion was left unreconciled. But the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, at that meeting countered Mr. Sanusi, saying the figure yet to be reconciled is $10.8 billion. However, at Tuesday's public hearing, the CBN governor stuck to his guns and delivered another blow to the NNPC.
So let us first of all make it clear that out of $67 billion NNPC shipped, $47 billion has been repatriated to the central bank. Now what we're talking about is the balance of the $20 billion and what explanations have been given. NNPC has said some of it does not belong to the Federation. So $6 billion MPDC. We have held the position that some of the crude shipped by MPDC is shipped from oil wells that belong to the Federation. JVs that Shell went out of, which NNPC took over and handed over to MPDC, which then handed over to two Nigerian companies, Atlantic Energy and Seven Energy, and transferred revenue that should come to the Federation to private hands. And I have given 3 legal opinions to this committee on the unconstitutionality and illegality of that transaction.
The CBN governor also raised some other issues questioning the operations of the NNPC.
NNPC has explained that 80% of the money they have not repatriated came on kerosene and fuel subsidy. I have submitted to this committee written evidence of a presidential directive eliminating subsidy since 2009, and NNPC needs to provide its authority for buying kerosene at 150 naira from the Federation account and selling at 40 naira, and inflicting that loss on the Federation.
But the chairman of the committee called for caution.
May I caution all of us not to constitute ourselves, the committee will not, of course, into a judge and jury, but to provide the committee with the facts and leave decision to the Senate.
A federal lawmaker in the committee also had questions of his own.
Reconciliation on a letter that was out as early as September. And I think the reconciliation only started after this became out in the public domain. So I wonder, between the time the letter was written and the time it came to public domain, what stopped the reconciliation truly to have been done and carried out? Point number 1. And now we've started December to February. DPR says they're looking for documents. Surely, at the point of payment every month, PPPRA, at the point of payment every month, surely it is supported by documents. So I am honestly, I get more concerned because to some of us, and I'm sure a lot of those who are here, who I'm sure have run issues of accounting reconciliation, one is rather baffled why it will take 2 months to retrieve these documents, considering that at every month when these payments are made, you must submit documents to support such payment. And I would like us and Minister of Finance that, as the chairman said, time will continue to extend time to February. But I'm just rather worried, and I think it's important to, instill confidence in us to believe that, this process in the first place shouldn't have even brought to this point. The fact that and I think we should move away from whether it's not the amount. I think it's the issue of the process, because those of us that were appropriating, we would like to believe that there are mechanisms in place that will ensure these kind of things do not. So I would really like Minister of Finance, first of all, to explain why, as you say, you took the initiative as a major stakeholder. Why did it need Central Bank to have brought it to our attention? Point number one. Point number two, when it was brought to the attention of government in September, why did it need a leak in the media in November before the committee to reconcile had been set up? And thirdly, since the reconciliation has started, what is delaying these documents? Because I presume these documents must have been processed for the payments to have been made in the first place.
But the NNPC, however, is not prepared to take the allegation from the CBN line low.
CBN is a banking outfit, so I really understand why they would not understand some petroleum engineering issues, and they are not also an auditing outfit. Now what they try to do is to audit, and I had some statements made here that they do not have this document, they don't have that document. They are not the auditors. We have certified bodies and arms of agencies that are charged with the responsibility of auditing. They are banking, right? So what he said was not really new. We said clearly that we stated an amount that went to MPDC, and that amount was the gross lifting. But there are other streams that go back to government in terms of taxes, just like any other business player.
The Committee on Finance had instructed the CBN, the NNPC, Ministry of Petroleum, and the Ministry of Finance to reconcile their figures and get back to the committee. But till date, the chairman of the Finance Committee, Senator Ahmed McCarthy, says the committee is yet to receive the interagency reconciliation report.
We are yet to receive the interagency reconciliation report. If it is ready, it can be presented to us now. But if not, that is, if it is not ready, it must be presented latest February 7, 2014. I have gone to this extent to brief all what has been going on in order for all to know that our committee is working hard to establish the true position of things and make its recommendation to the Senate for final decision. Decision is even not that of this committee, is that of the entire Senate.
The public hearing is expected to continue Thursday, 13th February.